Hello, I'm Dr. Tina Ray. I'm an educational and child psychologist, and today I want to share with you my Find Your Calm plan. I think this is probably going to be something that many of us will find useful during this COVID pandemic that we're currently continuing to navigate. So this is the plan, Find Your Calm, and I'm going to go through each one of these in turn. Initially, at the outset, it's really important that we are focusing on what we can control to reduce our levels of anxiety. And many of us will be experiencing heightened levels of anxiety at this current time. That's clear and it's evident. There's a great deal that we can't control. Holidays during the summer, whether or not we get classes shut down due to children getting the virus, etc. But what we can control are our own rules and regulations about keeping safe. We can also control our own thinking patterns and recognize when we're engaging in negative automatic thinking or catastrophizing. It's really important that we do that and we lose sight of those things that are not within our control, because that just increases anxiety. I think as well, this notion of staying positive, trying to keep this optimistic bias is essential. And one of the things that I do at the end of each day is find 3 good things that I can think about just last thing at night, 3 things that I've valued about that day, and maybe revisit them at the start of the next day as well. Thinking positively, it's not about just turning a negative to a positive. It's about actually challenging our negative automatic thoughts, reframing them, engaging in a cognitive reframe so that they become more effective. I think it's really important that we don't go down the simplistic route of thinking we can change a negative to a positive. It's about actually tackling our negative thinking and engaging in more effective thinking, remembering all the time that what we're thinking is not always true. A thought is not always a truth. So very, very important to remember that. And developing our self-care plan, of course, is also an absolute essential. But if we write it down, if we actually formalize it and have some kind of schedule, I think that can really help us to be more effective in sticking to it. And really factoring into our thinking that engaging in any form of self-care, whether that's doing yoga or taking some time out, going for a walk with the dog, whatever it is, that is not selfish. We cannot pour from empty cups. And it's really important that as the adults, the grown-ups in the relationships with our children, we're very clear about this. We need to find our calm first, and that means engaging in a regular daily self-care plan. Thinking about ourselves first is really essential here. It's impossible for an unregulated, dysregulated adult to support effectively a child who's also dysregulated, who's anxious, who's really finding things difficult. We need to find our own calm first so that we can then share it with our child and we can co-regulate together. Part of the process for me is around observing the way in which we breathe. Very often when we're anxious, our breathing becomes very short, very high up in our chests, very shallow and tight. Just putting your hand on your heart and really thinking, stopping and pausing just for that moment in time really does help us just to stay that little bit calmer. And understanding as well and accepting the fact that actually it's normal to feel anxious in the times that we find ourselves in. These are uncertain times, and a level of anxiety is absolutely natural. What we need to do is to attempt to remain hopeful, knowing, of course, that this will pass. It may take some time, maybe longer than many of us would have liked, but it will pass. There is hope. Regulating regularly as part of our self-care plan is another way in which I find extremely helpful in terms of actually maintaining a sense of well-being, whether that's just simply grounding, so 5 senses grounding or grounding with your feet, engaging in really good breathing, deep breathing exercises, stopping and pausing, as I said earlier, and maybe making use of mindfulness strategies and exercises to soothe our nervous system. We can actually do this and we can become better and better at it, but it takes practice. Co-regulating with our children is really, really important. Let's show them how to do it. So, you know, holding the hands together, mirror me, let's do this deep breathing together. Let's practice this together. We can both calm each other as we calm ourselves. So let's visualize together. Let's draw out the worries or dance or jog them out together. Accepting yourself in the moment and having some self-compassion is really, really important. We don't always get it right. And it's okay to take time out to vent. It's actually extremely healthy. We mustn't beat ourselves up about it. And what we need to do, I think, more than ever, is really look and learn from what happens. We make mistakes. There is no such thing as perfection. We can only be the best that we can be and try our best. But focusing on solutions, thinking about what might work better next time or what did work well, finding the exception in the situation is really helpful. So really problem solving as we go along, instead of being focused entirely on the problem itself. So moving, shifting away from that. Moderating and managing our self-care plan is also essential. Sometimes we just need to be that wee bit flexible about this. We'll change things on the day. We'll do something else instead of what we would normally do because it works better in that moment. And I think this is really essential. Finding our calm daily. It's going to benefit us, but it's also obviously going to benefit our children and young people. So find your calm plan. I'm hoping that this will be something that you may want to print off, take away, and just bring it out every now and again, just to have a look and remind yourself of these key strategies. It's simple, but it does take hard work and practice. You'll find a version of this as well for children and young people in the new Toolbox of Wellbeing Journal for children and young people aged 8 to 16. So do please take a look at that. The publication is imminent. It will be available in the end of this month, April 2021. Thanks for listening, and I hope you join me again next time.